Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Rip N Riff, and it's going to be a good one today, folks. We are jam-packed today, fully into the NFL season, baseball playoffs with our team sucking, and, of course, NHL season dropping the puck this week. So a lot to get to today. Don't want to waste too much time. I will say, being the father of a 6-year-old daughter, it's nice to be out of the boo-boo / K-pop demon hunter's world and, talk some sports and, rip some cards. How we doing, Jared?
Oh, you're deep into that K-pop world now?
I'm going as one of the characters as part of a Halloween costume. Character's name. I still haven't seen the movie in its entirety yet, but I've heard the soundtrack probably as much as I've heard Metallica's new album the first week it came out. The character's name is Abby, but with this stomach, it'll be more like Flabby, but it'll work.
Father of the year right there. The things you do to make your children happy, right?
Yeah, and actually yesterday was the first time I coached her basketball team. Was the first, and that was a blast. The kids I got a good, it's like 5 to 7 year olds, so they're not like keeping score or anything like that. Like it's just trying to like get them like the fundamentals and stuff like that, and that was fun. So
for that, we got a real John Calipari on our hands as well.
Calipari, what college coach would I? My buddy asked me he's like, what's going to be your coaching the guy you aspire to be with these kids, and I jokingly said Bobby Knight. Obviously,
the first thought that popped in my mind was left wing Bruce Pearl.
What college coach would I want to be? It would not be Mike Jarvis. He can go screw himself for ruining St. John's basketball for a good 20 years. I have to think about that, like which college coach, if I'm going to be like true about it, or basketball coach in general. But let's get the pack ripping lineup in. It looks like we've got 1997 Collector's Choice football. Looking for the rookies there. Nobody crazy except maybe a Tony Gonzalez. We'll see what happens there. And then I've got some 1988 Topps baseball. I can feel the gum in the pack. No, I will not be chewing it, but nonetheless, looking forward to ripping a classic looking Topps 88 pack. Jared, you've got a couple of things you're bringing to the table today.
Yeah, with hockey season starting this week, we've done these packs before in the show, the 2023-24 ice packs. Nice quality cards there. And if you want to take down the full screener there for a second, I'll show you the hockey gems of the game box. We did one of these late last season for football. Now we got the hockey version here. So we got one graded card and 3 factory seal packs. I don't know that I'm going to open all 3 of these packs today, but since these ice packs are only 6 cards per pack, I figure I'll at least do the graded card, and we'll see what we have in the packs that include in the box. Probably be like some like O-Pee-Chee and probably like some Topps, the base, the normal cards that they do every year. I forget what they call it, but yeah, we'll have all those.
Now, like I said, jam-packed show today. We're going to talk NHL season, just general thoughts on what we think is going to happen this year. At the time of this recording, Elliot Friedman reporting that McDavid contract is imminent. So we'll discuss that as well.
And if you'd like a small update on that, Connor McDavid just tweeted, "Our journey continues here," with a bunch of photos. So he's basically saying that, like, yeah, I'm re-signing today.
Or he's doing a way worse version of LeBron James' the decision. Actually, these pictures are not.
Who knows? There's only one way to find out.
God, he would have to leave Alberta immediately. They'd have to trade him. Like, you can't play here this year. It's not safe to. So we'll get to that later. We're going to get to our week 5 NFL thoughts, and we'll get to, our week 6 parlays. We both went 2-1 last week. We'll talk about that later. But first, our leadoff pack of the day is going to be some Topps 1988 baseball. If I don't throw the pack on the ground, which I just did, so let me go get that. Just kind of got out of my hands there. A little Butterfinger moment there. So,
I don't know why I tried that.
Listen,
Oh, draft lot. Oh gosh. I mean, I know things are rough in Jets land, but
that's left over from Total Hockey Now. Let me change that.
Well, I guess that also applies to the Jets, though, even though they don't have a draft lottery in the NFL. It's Tankathon Cam.
West Coast Rip Cam. Yeah, it's not a. We'll talk about them later.
Tankathon Cam, but
yeah, shout out Matt. Like this is no. I'm not putting, but almost 40-year-old gum. Oh, not happening.
No, you're not Matt Deutsch. You're not going to do that.
No, nobody's Matt Deutsch. So let's see here. Let's throw away this plus the All Stars and Hot Collector's Edition like order form card. All right. So we got a team that's still in the baseball playoffs right now. So we'll start off there. The Milwaukee Brewers facing off against the Chicago Cubs in the one of the two NLDSs there. So
yeah, it must be nice to root for a team that can actually score runs in bunches in the playoffs. Must be nice.
We'll get to the team that can't in a little bit. But yeah, this, listen, rivalry series, Brewers, Cubs, see how things go. But, the Phillies, Dodgers, I mean, both NL series, they're fantastic this year. Then we have, speaking of the Phillies, Juan Samuel, National League All-Star there. Let's see here. The Guardians made the playoffs, but here's Tom Candiotti with the Indians. We got Mike Scioscia of Simpsons fame with the Dodgers there. He loved working in that power plant, man, and it was to his own detriment, though. He loved his job too much.
Right, and now we don't even know if he's going to live through the night. So it looks like, you know what though, it looked like Mike Scioscia went on to recover from that and have a successful managerial career with the Angels, even though he was one of my least favorite managers in baseball when he was Magic, just because he loved to complain about everything, and it just drove me nuts as a fan of the opposing team.
Like, as you get older, like you can't remember everything, but like I can still see Mike Scioscia getting up out of the dugout and like walking towards to argue something like that. He did it so much, it's just like burned in your brain kind of thing. Let's see here. We've got athletics here. Steve Ontiveros. Can't say I know anything about him. Do love that. This is like I can't imagine how many packs of these I ripped as a kid. Like the classic white border, team color border frame with the name at the top in the picture. We got Cal Ripken Sr. here, Orioles manager. Speaking of managers, let's see here. Nick Isaski, the Reds. Yeah, they fell short a little bit, just like the Mets and Lenny Dykstra.
Yeah,
Lenny Dykstra.
Thanks for coming in the playoffs, Cincinnati. Nice knowing you while you were there.
I mean, to be fair, it was it was over before it began with that. Like when Hunter Green got shelled, it's like, all right, any chance of an upset is not happening.
No, it wasn't. I mean, the Mets would have put up a little bit of a better fight. I think McClain would have pitched better than Hunter Green, but they didn't deserve to make it. They didn't win the tiebreaker, so it is what it is.
I think the Mets would have at least gotten a game 3 out of that series. Yeah, so we'll see. NL, we'll see what happens there. We got to turn back the clock. Stan Musial. That's a cool one. Actually, not bad for a pack of 88 tops here. Let's see. We've got Braves outfielder Dion James, who also played with the Yankees for a bit. I remember him as like a 4th outfielder for them. We've got the Angels leaders here in batting and pitching, but you'd think they would say who's on the front, but they don't. Let's see here. I would assume this is Wally Joyner, and I don't know who number 16 is, but yeah, like good job not putting like the actual names of who's on the front of the card. Yes,
Yeah, why would anyone need that information, especially in what year was this pack?
1988.
1988. Yeah, who would need that information in 1988 pre-internet?
I mean, to me, the classic tops is the the wood paneling border one. That's it right there. We got Brewers Ernest Riles. And then a Mets future stars that really never became a star, Kevin Elster. But it's nice to think they thought he would be a star at the time. I mean, look at that graphic overlay with all the colors of the rainbow and the star. That's high quality. That's quality for '88.
They should definitely bring that back.
Yeah, I like that. That's simple, but it's got a nice look. We got Ted Power with the Reds. And then finally, we've got another turn back the clock here. Jim Rice, Red Sox, 1976. All right. So we did our baseball pack. Wasn't really anything great there. Let's talk about the Yankees, where it kind of feels like in hindsight that beating the Red Sox in Game 3 the way they did, that was their season. It seems like they were content with coming back to beat the Red Sox, and we're done for the year.
Yeah, Hal's going to get his 4 home playoff games, maybe 5 if they could force a Game 4 in this series. But the Yankees got their playoff success. They got a few home playoff games, and when the Yankees inevitably lose this series to the Blue Jays, Hal will go on in Cashman. They'll have their little end of the season presser, and they'll talk about how they got unlucky and all the normal stuff that they say when they lose every year. I don't know that it's getting unlucky when Toronto just bludgeoned you for double-digit runs the first 2 games in Toronto in the division series. I don't know that it's getting unlucky when Toronto's rookie pitcher just shuts you down for 5 1/3 innings and it gives you absolutely nothing to hit. But such is life, I suppose, with the Yankees. And, that's how they run the organization. They're never going to learn that this is who they are, and they seem to be content with mediocrity. So it is what it is.
And again, and not to go back to that, what was that whole Jeff Passan thing about like Yankees fans and stuff like that. Like, yes, I understand Yankees fans have had a good all, but the way the last, we'll say 7, 8 years have gone, like you would not tolerate it if it was your fit, if it was your baseball team, your hockey team, whatever the case may be. Just being happy to be good enough to get in the playoffs, and maybe they get to the World Series, maybe they get to the ALCS. Otherwise, like you said, you get your X amount of home playoff games, so you get that extra money in the bank, winner, and then you're content with that. And I'm sorry, that's just not good enough.
Cleveland made the playoffs this year. They got their 3-game series in Detroit, so they had a nice little successful season. Kansas City made it to the playoffs last year, so they got to have a couple home playoff games. For franchises like that, that's good enough for them. Their fans are content, but not in this town.
It is the second. I think they're in the second longest drought in franchise history. And again, I understand, relatively speaking, it's not that long, but it's time there's a voice change in that locker room. Let's be real. It's like show that you're like, okay, that this isn't acceptable, and we're gonna shake things up, and try something different. Because it's not talent that's a problem. So where was the next thing if it's not the talent? And I know some people are starting to come after Aaron Judge as like he's an MVP, but like where is he in the playoffs? And that's starting to become more and more valid. But,
I mean, that's I think that's a little late. Aaron Judge isn't why they're losing in these playoffs. And like when you give up 10 runs and
doesn't matter.
Yeah, in multiple games, like there's not one person to blame necessarily. Like even as much as I'd like to get on Aaron Boone for this series, like if you're starting pitchers and aren't going to show up, and we've talked about the bullpen before on the show, so we don't really need to dive too deep into that. But if you guys are just going to completely no show, like what's the manager going to do?
Well, we'll see like you said, it'll probably just be status quo in the offseason. I'd be surprised with the change. And listen, they could still come back and, win 4 in a row and beat Toronto, win 4 in a row, beat Toronto, but, or 3 in a row, excuse me.
Now, tell me if you agree with this. If it were me managing the Yankees, I pitch Schlittler in game 3. I don't pitch Rodon.
Yeah, ride that momentum, see what he can carry over. Yeah. I'd be okay.
I don't think they'll do that. I think they've already announced Rodon starting game 3. So odds are the Yankees are going to go out like chumps in 3, and it is what it is. But if it were me, I'm starting Schlittler off with that start last week in the deciding game 3.
I mean, in that situation, you kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you do it, a lot of the fan base will love it, and then if it blows up in your face, it's like, well, that's why you would go with Rodon instead. It's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But
nobody is going to criticize him if they pitch the guy who went 8 scoreless innings and struck out 12 last week. Nobody will criticize the Yankees for that.
In hindsight, they will, is what I'm saying.
Well, you know what? They're wrong.
I'm just saying that's how it goes, though. That's just how it is. So yeah. I would be okay with that. I mean, like you said, ride them. Like he had one of the best postseason pitching performances that we've seen in many, many, many years. If you're going to go down with that guy.
That's what I would do.
Go down with that guy. So there we go. There's the baseball portion of the show. I mean, well, we could talk about the other ALCS series because that's actually been pretty good with the like. Who would have thought that after a split in Seattle that the Mariners would have gotten the win over in the start where Tariq Skubal was the guy, and he went and he had a great, he did his job. Like you can't really. So that's actually that's going to be a good series right there. I think the rest of the way that's going to be worth watching.
Right, and now that series shifts to Detroit. I think I like Detroit in that series, but we'll see. I feel like now that Detroit got past Cleveland, they're kind of back on track, and they did what they needed to in Seattle. They got the split. They didn't get the split the way you thought they might get the split with them not winning the Skubal start, but I think they did a good job over the weekend, even though they lost yesterday's game in, I don't want to say heartbreaking fashion, but that's a tough loss when you come back in the eighth to score 2 runs to tie it and then give up the run in the bottom of the eighth.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. Like, people talk about like, oh, like the way Detroit stumbled down the stretch. That doesn't matter anymore. Like that is
No.
so far behind them. Like that's not relevant to what they're doing.
Doesn't mean anything.
No.
All you need to look at is the series last week against the Cleveland Guardians. They won that series, so who cares that they blew the division?
And this is also a team that, if go back to like the 4th of July, this is a team like, well, they're certainly going to be one of the top teams to come out of the AL this year. They got one of the best chances, so it's still the same team. They just had a really extended slump, but like you said, they seem to be back on track now.
I mean, to turn the clock back even further, you remember the 2000 Yankees and how much they struggled in September leading into the playoffs that year, and that team went on to win a championship. Like it matters how you play in October. It doesn't matter how you play in September necessarily.
Yep, that's right. So we'll, that's the series I'm probably most intrigued by right now. But now it's time to get to the NFL in Week 5. We'll use We'll use this 97 pack here to talk about the teams we want to talk about. Let's see. What do we got here? We'll put that one at the end because that's the insert there. We do have, all right, so here, let's start off. There's a little bit of bricking on these, so you have to bear with me as I try to unstick them without ruining the cards themselves. We'll see how well that goes. All right, first up, we've got the bomb insert set here of Jeff Blake, who is, talk about quarterbacks that could sling it and throw the ball downfield. It felt like he could throw the ball 100 yards without even trying with that arm. Former Jets third-string quarterback. Another quarterback, if you go back in their history, that went on to somewhere else and actually had some success for a few years that, they couldn't figure out. So it's been a problem of theirs for a long time.
Are you okay as a Jets fan?
So what I said to our buddy Dustin Sweetelson yesterday was it's usually about Halloween when I get into that mode of, I guess I should watch the game of the week instead of the Jets in whatever time slot they're playing. I don't even have the Halloween decorations up yet. I'm doing that Friday. They couldn't get to week 6 before I'm like, well, you look at the schedule this week. All right, am I really waking up to watch the Jets at 6:15 a.m. Pacific time for a 6:30 kickoff to watch?
You got better things to do with your time.
No, I'm not waking up to do that. When I wake up, I will put the game on until it's time for me to leave to go, like I mentioned before, coach basketball. But I know, I'm not like it's, and people are getting on Aaron Glenn, and I get it. But, and you're a good person for me to say this to, because you'll remember this. Back when we were producing for Better Sports Network, I remember we did a show back with Corey Parson and Nando DeFino, where one of our lead topics for the day is, when is Dan Campbell getting fired? And they had patience, and now look. And I understand they haven't won a Super Bowl yet, but if you told me, gun to my head, who's coming out of the NFC, it's the Detroit Lions right now.
Right.
There needs to be patience, but I
agree there needs to be patience with Aaron Glenn. Next sentence. The Jets yesterday looked like they've never played professional football before in their lives, or organized football at any level. That first half was, when you have Rich Cimini, who's covered the Jets forever, and he's saying, and he's watched a lot of bad football. I don't think people realize how much bad football Rich Cimini has watched. When he is saying that this is like bottom 10 Kotite era-esque-ish football from the Jets, it's bad. That's a problem. Now, I agree with you. They should be patient with Glenn. It's going to take them some time because, now that they have the new regime in there, they're going to get a lot of the guys from the previous regime out of there. They're going to bring in their guys. So I would preach patience. But that said, yeah, this is rough.
First team in NFL history to go 0-5 and what? Not have a single turnover in their favor. Is that stat I think I saw?
And it's actually somewhat surprising that the Jets have managed to avoid going 0-5 for however many years that it's been. This is the first time in however long it's been in this run of Jets futility that they've gone 0-5.
And I drank the green Kool-Aid in the offseason. Like, all right, Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson reunited. Fields is in a situation where he doesn't have to look over his shoulder at anybody, or in Chicago, it's just tough to be a quarterback in general. I was like, all right, and I didn't have high expectations for this year. I said a really good season would be 7-10. Would have been a really good season. So that's not happening. But yeah, I like the other side of it too is you can't, with the whole patience thing, is you can't just keep changing coaches because then nothing's ever going to get better. Got to learn a new system. All this other stuff that goes along. Like, it's just the season's kind of gone already. Let's be real. They have no hopes for the AFC East. That's the Bills division, and now the Patriots. Maybe puffing their chest out a little bit. The Dolphins suck. They're just you got a good quarterback draft coming up. It looks like it could be down to between you and the Saints and the Titans for the top overall pick. And the Saints showed some gumption yesterday. The Titans showed some gumption yesterday. So, what? Just lean into this. Have the top overall pick and a draft where people would really want, where teams really want it.
Is this really a good quarterback draft?
That was what the case was supposed to be coming into the year. We'll see how it goes.
I was going to say, because I'm not so certain that Arch Manning is A, good, and B, going to come out with the year he's been having. And even if he was,
I don't know if
I got to think somebody in the Manning family is telling him there's no way you're going to play for the goddamn Jets. I would think somebody would put the kibosh on that.
Go back for a fifth year because the Jets had the top overall pick, and he was like,
he did.
So
yeah. So you think they would probably tell the same thing with Arch? And who's the other top quarterback this year? Drew Aller. Have you watched Penn State football? Drew Aller fucking sucks. He's not good.
What is more embarrassing, the fact that Penn State lost to UCLA, or the fact that the local Santa Rosa Growlers, semi-pro hockey team in my town probably has a better attendance than the UCLA Bruins? Like, which one is more embarrassing?
Probably Penn State lose to UCLA, because I had never heard of the other one until you literally just mentioned it.
So UCLA's attendance has been absolutely brutal this year, and people are saying because it's like nobody wants to go out to where the Pasadena, where the Rose Bowl is. That's not where and I get it, but yeah. Either way, I do have something that'll make me feel better about the Jets later. But let's get to this fact. Bottom line is I have no expectations for this season at this point. Just let's not fire Glenn. Let's give it a season. We tried to grab a bargain barrel quarterback and make him serviceable. It's not working out. Just let the season go. It's done. Let's see. We got a rookie card here, rookie class. Cal Berkeley here. Tariq Glenn, drafted by the Colts, was a hell of an offensive lineman for them for many years, part of protecting Peyton Manning. Let's see here. We've got Tim Brown of the then Los Angeles Raiders in 97, but I think they were still there. They didn't move back.
No, I think they moved to Oakland by then.
96 might have been, but either way, Tim Brown, Hall of Fame receiver. Raiders epically bad, and listen, I know the Colts are good, but I mean 40-6, like, have some pride.
Yeah, it's a little rough, and I figured this Daniel Jones. What's the word I want to look for? I don't want to say the word that's come to mind, but you would think this Daniel Jones success would have ended already at this point. I feel like this is going to be like the Sam Darnold thing last year, where he's going to ride this momentum for 14 weeks, and then he'll have 2 duds in a row the last couple weeks of the season. He'll just remind everybody who he is. Kind of like Darnold last year with the Vikings.
The floor has to come out at some point. I'm not saying he's going to revert back to being terrible, but law of averages say he's got to come back to earth at some point. I don't they're playing the Cardinals at home this week, so I don't think it's happening. I think the back half of their schedule is really, really tough. So I think that's where we'll maybe see it, because right now, the Colts are going through their season. They beat up on the Dolphins. The Broncos win was a close one. The Raiders stink. Who did Indy beat the previous week? They beat Tennessee. I'm missing one other team they played this year. So they haven't beaten the best of opponents yet. We'll see what happens when they make a trip to Pittsburgh later this year. I want to say they have maybe the Chiefs on their schedule at some point as well. They got to go to play the Chargers, so they're going to get some tests there. And the AFC West looks legit if you take the Raiders out of it. I mean, I know the Chargers are slipped the last couple of weeks, but I'm not as high as everybody was the first 3 weeks, but I'm not as low as some people are on them now after the last 2 weeks they've had either. Let's see here. Got the Bengals, David Dunn. They're just not worth talking about. Without Joe Burrow, they're nothing. And hey, going back to that Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase debate, it's great that you can throw the ball to Jamar Chase, but they can't protect anybody. Doesn't matter who's behind center. And if you can't protect the quarterback, then what are you doing?
Yep.
Michael Brooker rookie card here from the Falcons. Falcons had the week off. We got Chris Hudson from the Jaguars. It's a good action shot there. See what they do on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs tonight, although I do think the Chiefs cover that 3.5 on the road. Bottom line is Jacksonville's defense has been playing great, but how many times are you going to get 4 turnovers in a game or multiple turnovers in the game? If you're relying on that every week, eventually that's going to burn you. Let's see here. Let's get to the Giants here. We've got a Amani Toomer. This is actually a good picture there. Playing against the Vikings at the old Meadowlands there. That's a cool shot.
Yeah, it's a cool shot. Apparently, the Incredible Hulk played for the Minnesota Vikings at one point. Good Lord, that is a massive human being, number 68.
And he's got the cowboy collar, too, which just really makes him even more looks like a extra in like a Mad Max movie.
Right, and like Amani Toomer's not a small guy, and like this guy's just making him look like I mean, he looks like when Brock Lesnar tried out for the Vikings. Like, good Lord. Except Brock Lesnar wore the number 69 jersey because, of course, he did.
He's a nice guy. Let's to the Giants. Road loss yesterday in New Orleans gets Spencer Rattler and Kellen Moore their first NFL victories. Listen, I don't think if they lose the game, they lose the game. But to not even really be in the game is
the problem is the game was very much there for the Giants. You can't turn the ball over 5 times against anybody and expect to win. And that's exactly what the Giants did. And like when you turn the ball over 5 times, even the worst teams in the league will win a football game. And, I guess you have to live with that a little bit with Dart. You're playing with a rookie quarterback. He threw 2 picks. He had maybe one of the more inexplicable fumbles I've ever seen of him just like running. And I guess like the ball, his leg hit the hand his ball was in and just dropped the ball and had a turnover there. I mean, they didn't have problems moving the ball against the Saints defense, but like they just couldn't finish drives because they kept turning the ball over. Like that's gonna be one that the Giants look back on and they're like, we should have won that game. Now it's not gonna matter at the end of the day because they're not going to the playoffs or anything like that. But that's a game the Giants very much should have won, and had they not shot themselves in the foot as many times as they did, they
come home. Now they come home and they got the Eagles on a short week. Eagles coming off.
And that's good. Yeah, they get a pissed off Eagles team off of losing at home to the Broncos. So, just to tease this a little bit later, I can guarantee Philly is going to be in my week 6 parlay.
And yes, it is a road game for Philly on a short week, but let's be real. Anybody that knows the Northeast geography that's a 90-minute bus ride from Philadelphia to MetLife Stadium. So,
the stadium will be half Eagles fans, 100%.
So, it's not only it's not a road trip at all, really, for the Eagles. On a short week, Giants fans may not be thrilled about that Saints. There's going to be a lot of green in that building, and it's not going to be for the Jets on Thursday. Talk about that in our 3-leg parlays that we do off the top of our heads on the Monday lines. Got another Raider here is Terry McDaniel, and then let's see here. So the Chiefs here, they're playing on Monday Night Football. This is Chris Penn, a wide receiver I couldn't tell you anything about. A lot of Bengals in this pack. Guy who caught a lot of balls from Jeff Blake. Mr. Darnay Scott was a good deep threat in his day. Let's see here. We've got... if one Jeff Blake card wasn't enough, shout out Rich Mendes. I got to send him these Bengals cards here. It's a Bengals heavy pack. Jeff Blake times 2. Pete Mitchell, Jaguars, definitely a Jaguar heavy pack here. We got Jim Kelly with the Bills. Are we worried about Buffalo, or is it just okay? A New England Patriots team that's got a good coach now, road division game. Like I'm not pushing the panic button on Buffalo. I really, not at all. One of the things I gave out last week was the Patriots plus 8.5. They didn't even need the points. But yeah, I think New England is a team that I think if they continue to build off of this, they have to seriously be considered for the wild card picture, especially now with Baltimore. I'm not ready to write them off as like, oh, they're bad because, there's still plenty of season left, but there might be some spots open in the AFC that we didn't think were there initially. So, keep an eye on New England.
All right. Would you like to hear the numbers on one Connor McDavid?
Oh, we have that news before we get to the hockey. Yeah, you know what? We're going to get there in a minute, so let's do it.
All right. Connor McDavid, make sure you're sitting down for this one. 2 years, 12.5 million.
You're reading that right? You don't need glasses. There's no typo in that.
It's funny was your screen froze for a second on my end, so like I was just like, Adam's so stunned he just left the show. Yeah, 2 years, 12.5 million. They also they immediately turned what they're saving by not paying McDavid, and they handed Jake Wallman 7x7. So the Oilers.
I know 7 million ain't your dad's 7 million. I watched Jake Wallman play a lot in San Jose last year before he got dealt Edmund. He's a good defenseman, and in that system, he will be even better. But maybe this is a situation where, you know, it looks better down the. I don't know if Jake Wallman's a 7 million. I mean, I might have saved that money towards a goaltender. But if they're only signing McDavid for 2 years, like,
that's McDavid giving them the ultimatum. All right, because he's also signed for this year at 12.5 million or whatever he's making. So that's McDavid saying, all right, you guys got 3 years for us to figure this out. If you can't figure it out, then get ready for the summer of, I guess, 2029 when this deal will be up.
Set your calendars. I mean, the problem. Yes, it's easy to say the goaltending's the issue in Edmonton. We know that. But you know, the Darnell Nurse contract is their biggest problem. It's their biggest obstacle towards rectifying issues. The last card. So we talked about the Bills there with Jim Kelly. Last card in the pack. This is the Turf Champions insert. A nice one. May he rest in peace, Kevin Green. Now I gotta say, Panthers Dolphins ended up being a entertaining game. You know, it was a crappy Week 5 slate, or in Fox has to go to bonus coverage because the game ended early. That they go to Dolphins Panthers. Like, that's the best game you had to offer at that point. But hey, it was a good game. Panthers mid, Dolphins. It's just a matter of when Mike McDaniel gets fired at this point. They're playing the Chargers at home this week. If he makes it through the week, that could certainly be a spot where he goes. I could see the Chargers bouncing back, getting a big win. Time to go.
You want to build these Week 6 parlays right now real quick before we get to the hockey?
Yeah, I mean, we got to get down to brass tacks here, so let's do it. All right, so it's time to get to our Week 6 parlays here. Last week we both went 2-1. Jared lost just barely on the over in the Giants Saints game. It was a 41.5, and that one comes in right at 40. So no dice there, but you hit on the Titans plus 9.5 and the Buccaneers plus 3.5. I hit on the Titans plus 9.5, the Patriots plus 8.5. I also like that Buccaneers play too. I ended up playing that, but I lose on the Rams under 47.5, so I lose by 1.5. So both of us lost our total bets by 1.5. So at least we have that in common. But time to look at the Week 6 slate here, and let's see what we got on the board. You know, you already mentioned you got one for Thursday Night Football here with the Giants and the Eagles. Eagles are 7-point road favorites, minus 120 right now. I'm seeing total 41.5. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to lay the points with the Eagles here. I just feel like them short week. They're already annoyed that they lost that game against the Broncos in the manner that they did. Now they come into a divisional game against a team that they have owned over the last half decade or so in the New York Giants. I mean, I know the Giants, you know, they have the young quarterback now and Cam Scatterbo, so you know things are looking up for the future for Big Blue. But I look at a Giants team that can't stop the run. I think this will be the week that Saquon Barkley gets going. A nice little revenge spot for him. I think this will be a nice spot for the Eagles pass catchers to eat. So I will lay the 7 points there with the Eagles. That feels like a 34-14 type of game if I've ever seen one.
If I'm struggling to get to a third pick for that, I will absolutely tell you there. Now, I'm going to do this. You know, you want to lay the 7 against your New York team. I'm going to lay the 7.5 on the road in London, even though it's a home game.
I get it.
Again, I know that's some people say it's a road team. They're not a road team. They're both road teams. They're both playing in a building they don't normally play in. And for as much at the beginning of the season with Denver, where we're like, oh, are they as good as we think? Maybe they're just, maybe they, capitalized off of some great opportunities last year. No, I think that winning in Philly, handing them their first loss in a calendar year, that's a good way to make a 6-hour flight, 7-hour flight to London. That good vibes there. You got an 0-5 team that has shown, even if it wasn't the Jets, it was pick any other team that would be in they've shown nothing to think, oh, they're going to hang with a team that went to the playoffs last year and just beat the Eagles in Philly. So I'll lay that 7.5, no problem right now.
All right, my second pick, I had success with them last week, so screw it. I'm going to go back to the well on this one. I'm going to grab the 4.5 points with the Titans on the road in Las Vegas against the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a bottom 3 team in this league. And I'm not saying the Titans are good either. A lot of things obviously had to go right for the Titans to win that game. But I do think the Titans are a little frisky. And I feel like if you make mistakes against a team like that and let them hang around, they are more than capable of doing that. So I'm not saying they're going to win the game in improbable fashion, but I could very much see Geno Smith throwing another couple of interceptions because that's all he's done this year. So I will gladly grab the 4.5 there with Tennessee.
That's a good one too. I like it, but I can also see, like, if the Raiders are going to get their shit together, this is the opportunity and the chance to do it at home. But I agree. I do think Tennessee getting that road win, a little bit about, they'll hope if that moment they can ride that momentum of just the Cardinals' complete collapse that knocked me and many other people out of their survivor pools. And I was almost going to switch to the Colts before the game, before I left in the morning, and then I just never did it. Hey, whatever, it happens. What are you going to do? Can we talk about Emari DeMercado and this, just like this, having enough people fumble the ball near the goal line where it ends up going against you? That, can you just, before you drop the fucking football, can you just look down and be like, okay, I'm past the goal line? Like, also, he lets up on that run about 15 yards out. And I don't want to hear, oh, I want to see you run 60, 70 yards at top speed. Yeah, I'm a 42-year-old man that's not paid millions of dollars to be in shape and to run, and he's a running back.
Yeah, he's an athlete in incredible
shape.
To
be an athlete that his running is in his title. So that's first of all, don't freaking let up. 2, again, like, I just don't understand. Like, everybody has seen it. Do you not have that in your body and in your brain to be like, I don't want that to ever be me that gets a touchdown called back because I was an asshole that dropped the ball too soon? I don't even care about getting knocked out of the survivor pool. That drives me nuts because it shows you're giving up the play before the play is even over.
You would think that after last week with AD Mitchell, that teams would have just grabbed the film from that and just said,
don't be this guy.
Morons. Make sure you cross the goal line before you let go of the football. But apparently Jonathan Gannon didn't do that. Or if he did, I guess Emari DeMercado must have missed that meeting. So it is what it is.
And listen, I understand it's not high school ball where you're like, okay, your ass is riding the bench the rest of the game, and we'll see. Well, maybe we'll see in the second half next week. I understand you can't do that, especially as depleted as they are.
Oh, you could do that with a third string running back like DeMercado. You can find somebody else to not get a whole lot of yards per game.
The fact that he noticeably lets up, where if you don't let up, it's not a problem, because if you would have kept your momentum and dropped the ball at the same exact time, you would have been in the freaking end zone. 2, again, it has happened so much. It just happened last week, like you said. Anyway, back to making picks here. It's one thing to get knocked out of a pool. It's another thing to get knocked out of a pool in that kind of fashion.
I think you're up, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. The Patriots looked really good last week. I know it's a short week going on the road, but they're playing the Saints. I'll lay 3.5 there easily. I think Mike Vrabel's gonna have. They'll ride that momentum off of beating Buffalo on the road. They'll go down. They know they're playing a bottom 3, bottom 4 team in the league. Take care of business. Get some momentum here. So, yeah, give me the Patriots minus 3.5.
All right. This last one, I'm probably going to regret it as soon as the game starts. If the Ravens are going to do anything this season, this week is going to be their last stand. They're at home. They're against a good team in the LA Rams. They're getting 7.5 points. I don't know who's going to be the quarterback for Baltimore. I'm hoping it's Lamar Jackson. This line tells me it probably won't be Lamar Jackson, but if the Ravens are literally going to do anything, like this is their last chance. Like they're 1-4. They go to 1-5. They're not making the playoffs. Like I don't care how bad the rest of the AFC is. Like they're not going to go on this magical run. So I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but I'm going to take the 7.5 points there with Baltimore and probably hold my nose throughout the entire game.
I like it because if Lamar plays, that definitely is something I like. If it's Cooper Rush, maybe not so much. I'm going to go to Sunday Night Football. Lions getting 1.5 on the road at Kansas City.
I thought about taking that one too.
I mean, I would even consider that on the money line, but because the Chiefs seem to maybe have their mojo back, we'll see what happens against the Jaguars tonight. I'll take that 1.5. But Jacksonville is a tough defense. It's a short week. I know they're going to be, they got to fly back to Kansas City. It's not that far from Jacksonville, but you got one of the best teams in the league coming to your building on a short week, and I know it's a tough place to play, but Detroit has played them tough there in the past. I'm pretty sure they beat them on the Thursday night opener a couple of seasons ago in Arrowhead. So that's not it. The Lions are one of the few teams where it's like, okay, they're on the road. Great. So what? Like that doesn't faze me when it comes to the Lions. So yeah, I'll take the Lions with 1.5 there. So just to recap, Eagles -7, Titans +4.5, Ravens +7.5 for Jared. I'm going to lay the 7.5 with Denver and London against the Jets. Patriots to cover the 3.5 on the road in New Orleans, and the Lions plus Lions 1.5 in KC. The Bills in a bounce back spot to cover the 3.5 in Atlanta is also intriguing, but Atlanta, like 1 week they can be really good and 1 week they're terrible. So I don't know which one's going to show up for that game, especially off a bye. But now let's get to some hockey cards here. Let's get to Jared's got a pack of 2023-24 ice. Upper Deck ice.
Yeah, yes. We'll go through these packs fairly quickly if we don't mind here, and we are going to start. I laugh. The very first card I look at, the soon-to-be retired Devils jerseys with Vitek Vanacek.
All right, so yeah, I don't mind those jerseys. I just think they're a joke, and I'm very.
I just bought one the other day. In fact, I still have it like right here in the packaging right here. Yeah,
who's on the back? Anybody?
They're retiring. I got a Jack Hughes jersey.
Jersey squared. Yeah, if you're a Devils fan, you almost have to have that hanging in your closet. Like it's just like it's a part of the lore of the team now.
Yep, and they're still better than the Christmas tree jerseys. Let's see. I think green's a weird color for them. I know that was the color they first got when they went to Jersey. I grew up on red and black. Like I grew up in the mid to late 90s teams. So Nikolaj Ehlers now with the Carolina Hurricanes, who will likely be first place in the Metro Division this season.
More than likely. We'll see what the Devils have to say about that.
My opinion, the best winger in the NHL, and it's not Kirill Kaprizov, it's David Pastrnak.
Oh, I thought you were like segueing to Jesper Bratt. I'm like, he's good, but I don't know if he's that good.
No, I'm not that guy that says that Jesper Bratt is the best player in the NHL guy. That's Brad Pastrnak. I'm not stealing his gimmick.
I mean, he's a very, very good hockey player. I don't want to discount that. He's just not the best.
Correct. Yes, we have a Sub-Zero 199 out of 799 rookie card. Unfortunately, it's a player I've never heard of, and Tyler Kleven. So nice to have a number card there, but I don't know who you are, buddy. Not familiar.
Those cards are nice to like if you're gonna like bring it to your local card shop to try and trade it and get some store credit. Like even a numbered card will always fetch a little bit of interest, even if it's just for the dollar bin.
Yep. And last but not least, a couple rookies out of this pack. We have Akito Hirose with the Vancouver Canucks. Nice insert card there, but again, not really familiar with your game. And a player I am familiar with their game, Brock Faber with the Minnesota Wild.
We'll see what happens with him this year because, yes, he's the top defenseman in Minnesota, but it looks like Zeev Boyum's going to run the power play there, something he did very well in college. So they've got Minnesota's building themselves a mobile.
Yeah, and obviously, like we've mentioned the Kaprizov deal already on this show, they gave him the bag. So now we'll see if he can stay healthy and produce for him. All right, second pack here, and then we'll get to the gems of the game. Jordan Kyrou with the St. Louis Blues, not traded this past offseason, so he will be back in St. Louis.
They need him because he's one of the few guys in that lineup that's just a pure offensive punch kind of guy.
Ilya Sorokin with the New York Islanders. Islanders in that post-Lou Lamoriello era. I don't think they're going to be very good, but I mean, they could always find a way to secure a bunch of points they don't deserve if Sorokin bounces back to form.
I think Sorokin bounces back this year, and I just think they'll be a little bit better from just not having Lou in the building. You know what I mean? Just like having that vibe and everything out. I think that makes a difference for them.
Austin Matthews, not much more needs to be said about him. One of the best players in the league.
He's a guy, I think he's like at 19-1 for the Hart Trophy, something I'd consider.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's a former Hart Trophy winner and
sniffed it 2 years ago.
Yeah. Cam Atkinson here with the Flyers. I believe he's now retired, if
so.
Memory serves, or maybe not retired. Maybe he's just out of the league, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see. We have a couple rookie cards to finish this pack. Stanislav Saville with the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Okay.
And Bobby McMahon with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Solid bottom six player there. Yeah.
Listen, they're going to need, on or out of the lineup, they're going to need everybody to pull in all directions and everybody to step up. So,
yep.
I think if you told me to pick a Atlantic Division winner, to me, it's Toronto. With how banged up Florida is, I don't think they missed the playoffs, but to expect them to win the division with no Barkov and no Tkachuk for 2 months, it's asking a lot. And also because, let's face it, with the way Tkachuk has been playing in gritting and grinding his way through injuries, he's got little bumps and bruises that would benefit from a night off here and there. They are not going to hesitate to give it to him, especially if they're comfortably in the top 3 in the division. So I would pick them to win the division. And Tampa's good. I just don't know if I would have them to win the division.
All right, let's see what we have here in the Gems of the Game. We're going to start with the graded card. So I'm going to pull this out very slowly, and then we'll see what packs we have. So I'm going to slowly try to do this without like pulling out the packs as well. You can see it's a 10. Whoever the player is, it's a 10. And we have
Duck.
Mason McTavish rookie card.
Ooh.
Not bad.
Hey,
yeah, he just signed. He just got the he just secured the bag there. And we got a nice.
It's either 7 years, 42 million, or 6 years, 42 million. I forget which way the 6 and 7 went, but when you say second line centers, he's up there in terms of quality second line centers, a budding star. Anaheim finally starting to maybe build towards trying to become a playoff team, and they've got him as a cornerstone of that. So
I'm very happy with this one. This obviously the front runner for pull of the day right there.
Yeah, it's gonna win.
All right, let's see what packs we have here. We might open one of them. So we have ourselves. We have 2 packs of the 2020-2021 Upper Deck Hockey.
Okay.
And we have a pack of the 21-22 Hockey Series 1 packs. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save these 2 for a future episode of Rip N Riff since they're the same year, and I'll rip this one.
I mean, if McDavid just got paid, we should open the one with McDavid on the pack, or is that Draisaitl?
That's McDavid on the front of it.
There we go.
So
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, so, I think that's the way we bring this this episode full circle. So we're going to get this pack ripped open real quick, and there are 8 cards in this pack. So we will, assuming I don't screw up the corners on these, pull those cards out of the pack, and we are going to start with player on your favorite team who's entering a walk year. He's also probably going to get a big contract from somebody this year. We start with Artemi Panarin.
And listen, I know he's in his mid-30s now, but contract year, still plenty left in that. Yeah, I think Panarin's in for a nice season this year. Him and Trocheck play very well together. If Lafreniere can get going on the right side, here we go.
Mm-hmm. We have a player here who pretty productive in his heyday. Josh Bailey here with the Islanders.
Yes, very strong, middle 6 Islander presence for a long time.
We have JT Compher here with the Avalanche. Now he's with the Red Wings. Solid, like third line ish center.
Penalty killer.
Yeah, he's really not a star player. He's really more of like one of those glue guys you like having further down the lineup.
Yeah, he's a good play all over the bottom 6 basically.
Let's see. We have Michael Hauser, Young Guns rookie card here with the Buffalo Sabres. Unfortunately, it looks like he's one of the many Sabres draft picks and goaltenders that did not work out.
Any relation to Doogie?
You know what? You why don't you Google that while I pull up the Keandre Miller card here next?
I think he'll be in for a good
Keandre
season,
traded to Carolina this offseason.
Listen, I know he kind of became a target of Ranger fans there for a bit. I think him getting out of New York, going to Carolina, I think that'll do wonders for him.
We've already mentioned him on the show today. Kirill Kaprizov here with the Minnesota Wild.
He's got to go out and earn the bag. He got the bag. Now he's got to show that he is being paid properly.
And we end this pack with a pair of now their teammates on the Calgary Flames. We end with Jonathan Huberdeau, who was obviously part of the Matthew Tkachuk trade. And
a little bit of a rough presence offensively, but still a decent player for him.
And we have his top line center there, Nazem Kadri.
Look at that. Little, bring a full circle. Kadri's still a very good player.
Yeah. So, a lot of fun hockey stuff here today. We have obviously these packs, which we'll save for the future, and we're in good shape there.
So we got a couple of minutes left before we got to wrap things up. What do you thought? We got the season dropping the puck, tomorrow when this comes out. So, we could talk about. We've talked about your Devils. Expectations for them to be what, second, third in the Metropolitan.
That would be my guess. Yeah, probably something like that. I mean, they got to stay healthy. I mean, the issue with them the last couple of years has been Jack Hughes having a shoulder injury every year, which is a bit concerning when he's your franchise player. But they have enough talent there; they should be fine. I mentioned Arseny Gritsik last week as a potential dark horse Calder type, and I don't know where he's going to play in the lineup for him, but he's going to have an interesting year. I can tell you that right now.
I think the Devils are like that team that are going to finally burst onto the scene this year. If again, Jack Hughes has to stay healthy. As we saw when Hughes goes away, they're still a good team, but they're just not a deep playoff contending team without him. So I listen. I have all the respect in the world for the Devils. I think they're the second best team in that division. I think the Capitals and the Rangers are battling it out for 3 and 4 in the Metro, and it should be a good first round of the playoffs once things shake down. But again, injuries, lots of things, can totally alter the course of the season. That division, I think Philly might surprise a little bit and be better than people expect. Pittsburgh should be well established at the bottom of that division. I already gave my thoughts on the Atlantic. I don't know who finishes last in that division. It's probably going to be Buffalo or Detroit. We shall see.
I can't get over this McDavid contract.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. We can go back to that. I mean, and in the West, in Pacific, Vegas and Edmonton are the top 2 teams there. But the 2 years, $12.5 million. It's just
that's giving the Oilers an ultimatum. That's saying, all right, buddy, you got 3 years here of me, and obviously he's paired up with Draisaitl. So you have 2 of the 5 best players in the world. You have a team that's gone to back-to-back Cup final, even though they've come up short against Florida. I mean, there's not necessarily any shame in that. Florida's a champion for a reason, but eventually, you have to break through. So I credit McDavid for looking at Edmonton's situation and saying I probably have a better chance, at least right now in the next couple of years, of winning here than I do of going somewhere else. But that's also his way of saying, all right, well, you got 3 years to figure this out. I'm not getting any younger. We're at our peak right now. So either you figure this out or in 3 years, I'm going to go to Vegas or wherever he's going to go.
And it's too soon to start predicting 3 years down the line with cap space and stuff like, who might make, but I agree. I think he's been reasonable in saying hey, people say the phrase, I've dragged you guys to the Stanley Cup Finals the last couple of years, and I don't necessarily disagree. So
he didn't even take a raise. That's the most insane part. He's staying at $12.5 million. So he's certainly giving back on that contract. Now, McDavid's not stupid. He knows the cap's going up, and he knows that whatever his next contract is that he signs when he's 29 I guess 31 now when he signs it, that's going to be the 7-year $25 million a year contract or whatever it is. But man, I can't believe he didn't take more money. I really can't. I thought he was going to get 20. I honestly did.
You know why he didn't take? This is what I'll say is he's now putting it. It's now entirely on the Oilers. No Oiler fan, like unless McDavid falls flat on his face and becomes like a 60-point-a-year guy, there is not a single Oiler fan that's going to point to McDavid and be like, "You're the reason we didn't win." Because now he's taken he's done the Tom Brady thing where he's left money on the table, so you can go spend that money elsewhere to make sure we have a good team around. So now what he's done there is he's basically put it's all on you, Edmonton. If we don't get there, it's your fault. Can't say it's because of my bloated contract. You can say it's because of Darnell Nurse's bloated contract, but you can't say you can't even come close to using that phrase of him being overpaid. So, and
then they immediately turn around and gave the money to Jake Wallman. Who I like Jake Wallman, but
I do too. But timing is everything. Like maybe it should be like, hey Jake, it's done, but we're gonna announce it Wednesday. Let's announce it Wednesday. You know, like
oh man.
But or maybe that was done purposely because they know that people are going to be like, what's this 12.5 million 2 years thing? So, you know,
people immediately say the Jake Wallman contract was a bad idea, but nobody's going to remember it because Connor McDavid signed for 2 more years.
Yeah, maybe that's the strategy there. So there you go. So that, and then, the Central Division, I think, again, it's Colorado, Winnipeg, Dallas, Minnesota's right there. St. Louis is there. Utah could maybe make a run at a playoff spot. So, the West is going to be, the Pacific Division. I think once you get past the Kings, it's a little tough to say if Vancouver or Anaheim would have a realistic chance. Calgary needs to score more. Dustin Wolf played out of his mind down the stretch, and that's great, but you got to put the puck in the net. So we'll see if they could score a little bit more there, maybe get back to the playoffs. But that'll pretty much do it for this edition of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. Jared, what do you got coming up on the website this week for allaboutthejersey.com and your Devils coverage?
I'll write some words about the Devils. I don't know what I'm going to write yet.
It's opening week, though. I mean, so it's just like, it's like, remember those old Staples commercials? It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it really is this week.
Yeah.
And then have we gotten any more material for at Jared Moore Poker over the weekend?
Eventually. Shorter done through this week. We'll get on that.
Did we play any poker this weekend and accumulate?
This weekend was a profitable weekend. So
very good.
Your boy's in pretty good shape there.
You're the opposite of New York football right now. And also, like I said, all about the jersey.com for Devils coverage about both the jersey and the actual team. You can reach out to the show at ripnriff@gmail.com. And of course, don't forget Total Hockey Now, which we have completed our mock series. Puck drops tomorrow. The next live show is going to be on Thursday. First half hour is going to be headlines and fantasy. And then at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, we switch to preview mode and run the board for all the games on Thursday nights. But that's it. This one of Rip N Riff. I almost said Total Hockey Now and got my shows mixed up. But we'll talk about we're back to the NFL next week. Hockey, baseball playoffs. That's how it's going to be in October with basketball starting up later up this month too. But for Mr. Jared Moore, I am at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard. Back with you with an all new episode of Rip N Riff on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel next Monday.